Greetings, viewers. Welcome back to Phasmophobia for this week's weekly challenge, Vulnerable. Without further ado, we'll be hopping into the game and see what the devs have in store for us this week. Okay, so here we are at Willow Street House. We have tier 1, I think. Ugh, get rid of that. Bit of lag there. We don't have any crucifixes. We don't have any smudge sticks. We don't have any sanity pills, and we're at 100% sanity, so we are going in a little crappy all tier 1 items. We're going in without much protection. Let's see if we can find a ghost. The first thing you should definitely do, turn the breaker on. Turn some lights on. Remember, don't turn too many lights on because you'll blow the breaker, but do try to light up the area between you and where the ghost room is. This will protect your sanity from draining, and they changed the sanity system recently. Previously, if you were standing in a place like here, where it was quite dark, you would still be losing a lot of sanity because it was actually based on how much light you were getting. Like in Tanglewood, that front corridor, much like here, there's dark patches, and I tested dark patches. The one right next to the door was fine, but the one halfway along the corridor, you lost sanity. And therefore, in the corners of rooms like this, you'd lose sanity. Again, in most rooms, it's not too big of a problem, but some houses and some maps, it was a massive problem. Now, if you're in this room, you turn the main light on, none of the other lights matter, just the main light, your sanity doesn't drain. On medium and large maps, your sanity does drain. It only protects only protects your sanity from draining by 20% instead of 100%. It's quite a big difference. So big maps are they're pretty harsh on big maps, especially considering the rewards aren't that great. So small rooms on big maps do protect your sanity like normal. It's the large rooms. So most corridors, which again, a lot of your time in large maps is going to be walking around corridors looking for the ghosts. So a lot of your time, I didn't turn this on. So this is probably where I wasn't looking at my thermometer. It's in the corridor here. If what I saw there, see how it's dropping quite quickly? That is how I use. So here you would definitely lose sanity, for example. But how I use the tier 1 thermometer is you can just look at it when you're walking around. If you see it dropping quite quickly, that's going to be the ghost room. At least it's probably the ghost room. It's certainly a room that is well below the last room that you walked in. Now, it is pretty slow at getting down. However, the room, the sanity drain speed, the temperature change, the temperature dropping speed is now very slow. So it's actually slower than the tier 1 thermometer is at going down. So the real limiter is the room temperature, which is going to be the same for any of the tiers, which is why the tier 1 is so powerful. Where are you? Are you here? Where are you? Are you close? Where are you? You definitely walked in here. Where are you? Are you here? Where are you? Are you close? Where are you? Are you French? How old are you? Are you here? Okay. It still could be the tier 1 is pretty bad. We got cold breath. Again, protect ourselves. Turn the light on, and we're protected in this corridor. Again, it's only really large. It's only large maps, I believe, that have the the sanity draining in corridors and whatnot. Now, how to survive if you do get hunted on this challenge? I recommend you can loop it around here while crouched, or I probably should turn this on. You can loop it around here while crouched. You can break line of sight here. If you get behind here without the ghost seeing you, your likelihood of surviving is incredibly high. You just have to look at a car for a while. So, with if it doesn't turn the breaker off too often, lucky we were here. Do you have any ghost possessions? No. Gee, it's dark now without light. He teleported the mannequin from the basement. So the other thing about those mannequins, a lot of people... hang on. I'll just pause because I realised my bottle's still up. Okay, that's a bit better. Those mannequins... You need anything else? Didn't bring this. The mannequins and toys, it's the same thing. The ghost teleports them from the room that it's in to a different location. So if you see something like this, the ghost isn't here. It's wherever this came from, which is the basement on this map. Probably shouldn't even bother using the tripod because it's a bit impossible to use this well. Goryo are going to be particularly hard because you need to be outside of the room for a Goryo to show its dots. So hopefully we don't have a Goryo. Any orbs? Maybe I missed them though. Oh, we got fingerprints. Ultraviolet. Nothing new. Now, if it stays at this temperature, which it probably is going to, it's unlikely that we picked it up exactly at the right time. That notch, which I think is 1 degree looking at it. Oh no, about 0.5. It should be 1 degree though, because it's definitely what the devs have set as the minimum temperature. And 1 degree is the point at which ghosts basically can't reduce room temperature below if there isn't going to be freezing. So you know if it gets down to that point, it's almost certainly not freezing. And with these challenges, they're usually 3. So I'm going to rule that out. Now, of course, the reason why I held it there for a bit was it is possible I picked it up at exactly the right time. Let's get... It is possible. Let's just look at this. So, see, I've only lost 12% sanity. Actually, 12%? Let's watch. So it's the average of these values, so probably 12% roughly. And that's because I was doing those checks in the dark. But because I knew I wasn't going to be losing too much. Now, a demon, of course, can always hunt you. Now, I think on this map, I think this challenge, let's have a quick look. Let's have a quick look. I haven't seen any... Oh, we got a voodoo doll. Haven't seen any hiding places, so I don't think... Turn that light off too. Don't think there's any hiding places, which again, it's vulnerable. That's kind of what you expect. Yeah, didn't see any in there. Maybe there was, and I just wasn't paying attention. On this map, I often don't even bother using. It's actually a pretty good map because it's one of the best looping maps in the game. Let's just throw that there. See if it comes towards me at all. Yeah, it's definitely... Willow is definitely one of the best maps for looping. Well, you came to me, did you? Could have been a random wander, but if we see that a lot, it very well could be Banshee or Phantom. Probably should have a camera. nice if you did something while I'm here, but you don't seem to want to do anything. You only do things when I'm gone. Just checking for a bucket. Didn't look at the sanity monitor when I was there either. I probably should have. Not the sanity monitor. I did look at the sanity monitor. I didn't look at the activity monitor. I probably should have. Might have been able to see if it was likely to be EMF 5 or not. Okay, so I wasn't in the house. Now it's possible that it did that just as I was walking out, but I don't think so. Very well could be EMF 5. Let's wait a little bit longer. My sanity is quite high, so the activity is low, right? And single 4 or what you're looking for is 4 or 5 spikes. So this transition from one to the other, if it's 4 or 5, doesn't really matter what it started at. It's the difference between where it started and where it ended. You're looking for 4s and 5s particularly when there's no one in the house, because ghost events can also give 4 and 5. Particularly 4, because it is EMF 4 as a ghost event. But I wasn't in there. It's possible that it maybe somehow teleported a ghost event to me just as I walked out the door and I didn't notice it, but I don't think so. There's a lot of 2s. And there's also just a random chance sometimes too. This isn't like gospel. This is just a possible maybe. If you see it a lot, which we're not seeing it a lot here, if you do see it a lot, it's very likely. If you pretty much don't see it that often, like I'm not that confident that was EMF 5, for example. Maybe wait for one more. And the ghost absolutely dies. Just dies. It actually can be doing stuff apparently, because EMF 2s particularly can actually show as 0. Well, hang on. Oh, it's walking to the motion sensor. It's still not doing anything. Now, it's a bit risky to use the cursed possession, but I'm going to try Spirit Box one more time and then maybe give the voodoo doll a bit of a shake, because it's not doing as much as I'd like, this ghost. Particularly when I'm in there. I'm just being a bit impatient. But the voodoo doll's pushing me around. At least he's wobbly again. Look at him go. He does push you around a bit, though, unfortunately. Alright, let's double check temperature. See, it hasn't moved. Hasn't dropped below that point. Turn the light on. Did you, by any chance... So EMF 5, going back to that, it replaces normal EMF values, basically, once every... It's supposed to be 20%, 25% of the time, but you never really know. Let's just double check. Writing. Okay, let's give this a shake. Oh no, we're going to do Spirit Box first, weren't we? Definitely. Where are you? Are you here? Of course you do stuff now, but I'm not ready. That was a lot of door touching. Touched it like 3 times. Full EMF 2 by the looks. Where are you? Are you here? Where are you? Are you close? Where are you? Where are you? Oh, it's not working. Hang on, give me a second. Where are you? Was that dots or was that my breath? I kind of looked down for a second. Might have been dots just then. Where are you? Are you here? Why is it not working? Where are you? How old are you? There we go. How old are you? Where are you? Are you here? Where are you? Are you close? Where are you? Where are you? I think that could have been... Not sure. Possible that was dots. I just didn't see it because I was looking down, unfortunately. Trying to fix my mic. But of course your breath also shows up on the dots, so you have to be a bit careful, especially with this tier 1 where it is pretty hard to... Doesn't look like EMF5, does it? No. Double check what the thingy is. It's not Nobake thingy. You also see why the tier 1 glow stick is so powerful too. The fact that it can illuminate without actually having to be in your hand pointing at the door. I have a feeling it is dots, but whether... What else can it be? Tier 1 items are pretty bad, as you can see, getting evidence, especially compared to tier 2 and 3. Well, it depends, like the thermometer and the UV are great, tier 1. The rest of tier 1 is god-awful. Let's try Orbeez again, maybe I missed it. See any Orbeez? No Orbeez. I don't know if it can be on the stairs, can it? The Orbeez move every... I don't know exactly how long, but they do move. Don't really know if getting any interactions are really going to help with these ghosts. I don't think it's going to be writing. Let's give it a shot. Oh, was that dots? I think it was dots. Tier 1 dots is really hard to see. And it was walking towards me too, which is what they're supposed to do. I've had so many that walk away from me. So it's not a Goryo then, which I can gather it's not a Goryo because it's not freezing as well. Oh, not freezing. I'm pretty sure it's not EMF5. So what I saw before definitely was not EMF5. And that's what I was saying about it's not always the case. It's just fairly often. Fairly often. Like, again, the more you see on the activity board, the more spikes you see, the more likely, obviously, particularly if there's no one in the house. I mean, it could be a ghost doing lots of ghost events, but if you're playing single player and you're out in the truck, well, there's no one in the house. So... but if you're multiplayer, you really have to grill before you're sure. You may never be sure, depending on how much you trust your teammates. But you may have to really grill them. Was there a ghost event? Did anyone witness a ghost event? And if you see it like 3, 4, again, the more you see it, the more likely. It's here. I think it's a banshee. Could be a phantom. So I'm gonna go get a camera. So Goryo, the reason I ruled Goryo out is that its special ability is that its dots can only be seen through the cam. The voodoo doll's not really going to help you. I really want a ghost event, preferably, rather than a hunt. And the voodoo doll can't give you ghost events. It's something it definitely can't give you, because Phantom will disappear if you take a photo of it. It does that during a hunt as well. It's just, you know, a lot more difficult to get a ghost photo in the middle of a hunt. I mean, I've done it. You have to do it for the... Well, you don't have to do it for the trophies, but it's the main way you get ghost photos for the trophies. Let's just double check. Whoops, not that one. This and this. Oh, it keeps being right next to me. I don't know if it's my... Not that. Pretty sure it's not EMF 5. Check again. Oh, I dropped my camera! Oh, so that there, like, I clearly did not get the photo before it disappeared. It was singing. I think it's a banshee. I really do think this is a banshee. I think it's been walking to me fairly often. Across this. Every time I cross across this, it seems to cross fairly shortly after. But that can be just wandering around the ghost room, right? Where are you? There. Okie dokie. That is a very clear picture there. Hey, Grandma. Now, I was about to say, I got hit by both of those. I got hit by both of those ghost events, and Banshee singing ghost events drained 15% sanity. Compared to, sorry, I fucked up a little bit. I had electronics out, and I've got my light on now because I toggled through my equipment. And that's how you can just loop a ghost. You basically use your ears, and as long as it doesn't see you, it'll be hard to... It'll find it very difficult to catch up to you because you are, with your sprint, faster than the ghost. And that's why I said going to that ute is a godsend. So, if you look at this photo, you can see a glitching effect to it. It's all glitchy. You can clearly see the ghost in there. If it's glitchy, or you can see the ghost, it cannot be a phantom. It did 2 singing ghost events, and they annihilated my sanity. I would have dropped 30% because I think I got hit by both of them because I moved a little too close. I didn't actually need to get hit by the second one. I did get hit by the first one trying to get the camera. The second one, I just wanted to get closer to Grandma. And 15% each for a singing ghost event for a Banshee against its target. That's one thing I forgot to say. It's apparently only against its preferred target. The Banshee drops the sanity by 15% rather than 10, which is not a big difference too. So you really, to be confident, you kind of need to know where your sanity was. I wouldn't have been able to be that confident there, except that just the only ghost events I did was singing ghost events. It wasn't a phantom. It wasn't a choreo. They were definitely dots I was seeing. It really had to be a Banshee. Showing that a lot of the tier 1 items are pretty rough getting evidence. But yeah, the Banshee, again, it's only if the target touches it, or it touches the target whilst singing, drops at 15%. Probably should explain too what the target is. What I mean by target is the Banshee, at the start of the game, start of the match, it selects a target player. And that's the target that it wants to kill. It will not kill anybody else until that target's either not in the house or dead, I think is the way it works. It was believed for a long time that it did more ghost events towards that target, but it doesn't actually. It doesn't target ghost events towards the target at all. But it's way more likely to, because it also walks to the target all the time. As long as you're on the same floor as it, it will just keep walking to you. Or it'll walk to the target, and therefore it's likely to be near you, right? Near the target. So it's going to probably do more ghost events towards the target, even though it isn't actually programmed to do that. It was a long time it was believed that it would always look at the target. It would always walk towards the target if it had the chance, but that's not true. Now again, if the target dies, if the target isn't in the house, I think if it isn't in the house, it doesn't select a new target, it just hunts normally. But if the target dies, it selects a new target. And obviously on single player, I am the only target. So, yeah. sucks to be single player against the Banshee. Banshee's actually kind of a little bit difficult to tell. They're incredibly easy to tell on multiplayer because you can literally walk on them if you're not the target. If you're the target, you die. And if the target dies, it then will go through and kill everybody else if you're all walking on it. You need to be a little bit careful. I think it's a basement ghost again. I think it's probably in here. Yep, it's in here. Temperature's starting to go down. Drop our stuff, there's something on the floor, look, stuff on the floor. Yeah, that happened before I got here. Again, keep the lights on, keep your sanity up. So if you're wondering why, actually the CJ, who's the lead artist, I saw on Insim, who's probably the most famous Phasmo content creator, like that does a lot of Phasmo stuff. Almost specializes in it, but more specializes in horror games, but does a lot of Phasmo. He was talking to CJ, and one of the reasons why the tier 1 dots is so hard to see is that it does. So the dots themselves, the tier 2 and 3, kind of have a glow around the spot. So they've got a green spot and then a glow. The tier 1 doesn't because it's supposed to be a lot weaker. So it just has a green dot. And that's one of the reasons why it really doesn't pop out. Why did I set it up there for? I don't know why I did that for. It doesn't pop. I was thinking of the last map. Doesn't look like Fingies does it. I think it's always on this side. It doesn't pop like tier 2 and tier 3 do. I don't know if it works as well on a non-flat surface. Again. What did you do? You hit something. Threw something in the other room, was it? Oh. It's not really anything for it to interact with, I don't think, at that range. Oh. Where are you? Are you here? Where are you? Are you close? Where are you? How old are you? Are you French? How old are you? Are you friendly? Where are you? Where are you? Are you here? Are you close? Where are you? You can, of course, throw it down the ground. You don't actually have to walk around. But what I'm trying to do there is it doesn't always work, of course, to get up as on top of the ghost as possible, because the tier 1 in particular has a very short range of interaction. It also has a worse chance of interaction. So before the Ascension update with the old Spirit Box, that would have been good enough to rule out Spirit Box. Pretty much definitely. Unless the ghost was out of the room for some reason. Because again, you have to be in the same room as the ghost. Most of the time, the ghost will, within a minute or two, walk back into its ghost room. So that would have definitely been enough prior to the Ascension update. Now, even the tier 3 I don't think is quite as reliable as the Spirit Box used to be. I think it's got a better range, but I don't think the reliability is as high. Tripods are awful. I want to check the EMF of that. Oh, where did I throw it? Another thing with the tier 1 EMF, EMF 5 really hammers EMF 5. EMF 4 can hit the 5 mark, but that's not EMF 5. It's a mistake a lot of people have apparently been making, and I think they're actually going to change it a bit so that it can't actually hit EMF 5. I believe that's what I've heard anyway. Going to make it so you can't hit EMF 5. You can't actually hit the EMF 5 mark unless it is EMF 5. But at the moment, it does indeed hit the EMF 5 mark sometimes, even when it's only EMF 4. But if it goes way into the red, well above EMF 5, that's real EMF 5. The room hasn't cooled enough yet. Still cooling, so... yeah, where did I throw that camera? Almost blends in. Don't see any orbies. Wait, no, I do see orbies. Speaking of tier 1, I find them pretty hard to see now, these days. Don't think it's EMF. Oh, hang on, it's EMF 3. Thought I might have been going up there, but no, it wasn't. We have orbs. Orbs. I'm going to guess it's probably freezing. It is freezing, so it's below 0. Again, if it goes below that mark, it's pretty much guaranteed. What is that? Looks like EMF 4, but I didn't see any ghost event. So the only thing that could do ghost events is EMF 4. So the only thing that can do EMF 4 are ghost events, and that was... And EMF 3, it's only paintings and throws, but it touched the door. It should have been EMF 2. This EMF, like they need to fine-tune it. It's got some fine-tuning to go. As I mentioned. Let's try this again. Where are you? How old are you? Are you close? Where are you? So again, it should be an EMF 2, like that. Which hits EMF 3 every now and again. Like all of them do actually on this one hit. It's meant to be less accurate is the idea, but it's just... Oh, writing! There we go, ghost writing. You can see here too, like the ghost writing tier 3, you plonk it in there. Sometimes it'll just write it as soon as possible. Its interaction rate is insane. Tier 1, it's a fair bit slower. Ooh, Mare, Thay, Revenant. Do I risk it? The biscuit? I think I do. Hang on, it's freezing, isn't it? It's a Revenant. Let's get a hunt anyway. This time, I didn't mean to throw my light away, but I did for some reason. I don't know why I did that. But we'll hear the menacing of the Revenant. Getting all the pins. Come on. It's going to be the last one, is it? It is too. Last one. How menacing that is. Wait till it gets upstairs and it senses my light. Yeah. See with the cursed possession, cursed hunt, much longer. Whoops. There we go. I doubled back again because if it doesn't know where you are, the ghost will kind of wander at random, right? And I tracked it on purpose with the light just to show you how fast the Revenant can be. It's obviously that incredibly slow stamping. When it can't see you, it can't sense you. after, because I actually had to move closer to it to trigger the Revenant to be able to sense me, because again, your equipment glitches at 9 meters. Ghost can sense you at 7.5, except for the yokai. As soon as it did sense me, it bolted over to my location like mad, because the Revenant is very dangerous. It goes at the same, when it can sense you or see you, it moves at the same speed your sprint works at. But then after I lost it, it kept doubling back, and I had to keep trying to use my ears to figure out where it was going, because it doesn't know where you are. That's why definitely turning your equipment off, losing line of sight, best way to stay safe from ghosts, even if you have no hiding places. Some maps are better than others. Edgefield's a particularly hard map, for example, whereas Willow and Tanglewood are brilliant because they have these looping locations. Now, you see me using the car here. I like the car because it has a bit more... actually, I don't really want that. Not yet, anyway. Has a bit more leniency than the kitchen counter, I find. But if that Revenant was right on my arse coming up those stairs, my ass, here would have been a far better place to hide. The reason being, or loop, gee, the bones have been easy today. The reason being is that you can hide here and break line of sight quite quickly. But if it's on your ass and you try to, the breaker's been in the good spot every time. Perfect. You can shut the door here, but if you can't get to here, actually, it's probably not the best way. This is probably the best way. It's still a fair distance to run, though. If it senses you here before you can break line of sight, it would kill you, basically. If you can't get between there and there. And you've also got it here too. Like, I don't know how this table goes. I don't think it does block line of sight. So you've got this long thing here. You've got to shut the door, and then you've got another long thing here. Although I find looping here easier, obviously this is a much shorter distance to run and break line of sight. Don't touch me! I just used my sprint. I think it touched me. Let's go look at my sanity. Okay, apparently the ghost is in this room that I've been playing around. Where was it? Where did you start? Over here. You see how this almost goes up to 5, and it can in fact go over 5. It can just barely go over 5. That's EMF 4. Even though it goes over 5 sometimes. Okay, it didn't touch me because it would have dropped at least 10%. Good. I don't know what I want to bring here. This will do. Probably should have brought UV. Where are you? Are you close? Where are you? Are you here? Are you old?
An elderly victim.
An elderly victim, eh? Okay, we have Spirit Box. Pretty dangerous ghosts, the Spirit Box. Particularly the Moroi. So let's go check my sanity. Okay, we're at 94-ish. The reason I checked my sanity was indeed because after getting a response, or hear on the Spirit Box, or hearing anything on the Paramic, the Moroi curses you, and you start losing sanity at twice the rate, and lights do not prevent sanity, right? That was interesting. ghost. Where's my EMF here? EMF 3s. Writing. Ooh. There we go. Let's check my sanity. So my sanity has barely gone down. The likelihood of it being a Moroi is incredibly low. I was staying there looking for orbs. Must have thrown the camera, did it? That's the one use of this thing, the only use. So I did, I would have dropped a little bit of sanity. I'd expect the Moroi to drain a lot more than that. Maybe I should drop the camera like that. Just be freezing. Haven't actually caught it touching a door yet, which is rather annoying. Maybe it has and I didn't notice. Writing in the other book. Doing EMF 2 as usual. Can you touch a door? Or a light switch? Possibly not a mare, probably, maybe. I would expect it at least turn light off once. It hasn't done that at least once yet, but it hasn't been that long. Mares are very hard to the best way for a mare, in fact, is stop turning the breaker off. You aren't a Hantu, so Hantus are the only ones that turn breakers off more. The mare does turn lights off more, I believe. It also wander to rooms that don't have lights. It also break lights more. But actually, this doesn't have fingerprints, does it? The door does, if it touches the door of the breaker. But the main ability, now other ghosts can accidentally do this, but the mare has an ability that apparently it has a cooldown of 10 seconds per player per light switch. In this case, we only have one light switch in range. But when you turn the light switch on, again, every 10 seconds, there's a chance, every 10 seconds per player per light switch, there's a chance that within the next second or so, the mare will turn it off. And that's diagnostic of a mare. I'm going to guess it's freezing. Probably, actually. Could be right. It could be this. It's either this or dots. I think it's either EMF or dots. Hopefully. That doesn't look like it's freezing. Not in the room. There we go. I've checked a fair few times. Again, it should be a 25% chance. Unfortunately, this does not give fingerprints. Where are you? Are you here? Where are
Close
you?
to busting.
Where are you? Are you here? How old are you? Are you French? Are you French? Are you friendly? How old are you? I was hoping that if you happen to be within... Now, there are ways to... Whoops, I should put this out. Spot. There are ways to more accurately tell where... I could have used I've got the motion sensors there, but I wasn't using them. Know where the ghost was. If you're within a meter of the ghost, and it's a Diogen, I don't know if it's a chance or if it's 100%, it gives a very special spirit box response. I don't know why they gave Diogen that ability, but they did. Was that my breath then? Again, here, 1 dot's being a bit tough. It's going to have to be... I just put them in random places. Where are you? Are you here?
Closing.
Are you old? That there is the Diogen, so it is definitely dots. I probably may have been there. The problem with this dots is it really struggles to cover the room. Even when I'm holding it, like the best bet's actually to hold it. I did this a little bit and go around like this, but it can be very hard. Especially because, you know, you're going to be in the room because it works best when you're in the room. Because it's supposed to wander to a player in the room. But your breath obviously catches it a lot. And sometimes it can be difficult, especially depending on the model, to tell the difference. I find it quite challenging at times. Whereas a tier 2 and tier 3 are much more effective. Cover much broader part of the room. So just for fun, let's meet our ghost. Let's say hi, because Diogen is a ghost that... Oh yeah, I didn't actually see the dots. Well, I think I may have seen it, but I didn't see it properly. But that spirit box response got. I was wondering how did I narrow it down to Diogen. But yeah. For a minute there, I thought I already knew what it was before I got that spirit box response. So what I did was I tried to use the salt. I saw that it stood here. I didn't hear it do any steps. I then saw it trigger after it must have stood there for a while, and then I saw it trigger this. So I stood on here, and then I saw it trigger that, and I walked over here, and I was within a meter of it. That's how I got that special spirit box response. Obviously, if you just keep trying, you'll eventually get it. Most likely, at least. But where did my light go? Oh, there. Now, Dio, if you're in one of those back rooms and the Dio hunts, you're in big trouble. You have to? I'm trying to explain things here. Because the Dio always knows where you are. It doesn't matter if you break line of sight, doesn't matter if you turn equipment off, it breaks the rules. You cannot hide from a Dio. Of course, you can be far enough away, particularly on lower difficulties, so the hunt duration runs out before he catches you. But you can't actually run from a Dio. That's not possible. So you can technically outrun it for the duration of the hunt, but you can't run from it. You can't hide from it. I thought it was a little girl. I find the little girl particularly hard with dots. So I think what I saw before was my breath and then the dots. Very shortly after, I think I did see that once. There may have been other times and I just missed it. So this is the Dio. It knows where you are. Even if I turn my equipment off and I try and get far away, it finds me. It'll always find me. However, once it gets within a relatively short distance, it slows right down. And it is pretty easy to get away from. Unless you're in a dead end. This is the one thing you gotta be careful of. Thankfully, its hunting threshold is 40%, so it's lower than most ghosts. It's one of the lowest hunting ghosts. It's it's with the same as the mare with the light turned on, or slightly higher than the shade. But that's the deogen. Now, if I was in here, I should actually be fine. If you're in one of those back rooms, or especially if you're in the toilet, you would be in a lot of trouble, because if it hunts from directly outside the toilet, it's just going to kill you, because you can't hide. Probably shouldn't be in that position anyway. But yeah, deogen are usually pretty easy to survive against otherwise. As long as you realize you're going towards a deogen, it could be a deogen, just be careful. I find Ridgeview one of the worst maps. Ridgeview upstairs or Ridgeview garage is pretty awful against a deogen. And I think it's it's actually a Dutch word, de ogen or something along those lines, but I don't speak Dutch, so I don't know. So that's the weekly challenge for this week, Vulnerable. Let me know how you went. Hopefully you went pretty well. It isn't too difficult, especially with the new changes to the sanity drain. They make a huge difference. Like, the way I was playing today, the just going in and out of the light, not really being overly careful, I would have probably gotten hunted at least in the first 2 games naturally. Obviously against the Banshee I did get hunted naturally, but the other ones I had, like the Revenant, I had to use the Cursed Possession to get a hunt. I probably wouldn't have needed to with the old system. With the new system, you almost have to, because the sanity drain is now a lot better, and it works in a way it's a lot easier to understand, because it's simply, you know, the lights on in the room, stop sanity drain in the room, rather than a very complex brightness calculation, which is what it used to work off of. They actually got rid of it, not because it was complicated, but because it took a lot of CPU drainage off of systems. I know with my face tracking and recording, it did definitely punish my CPU, and that has improved a fair bit. So yeah, that's it for this week, and until next time, remember, dose makes the poison. Thanks, guys.